The death of a young fellow on the Apple River and the injury of 4 others appears now to be the result of a scuffle that broke out on the river. And I violated the 48-hour rule. It's a fairly major story and didn't wait. And I don't know who's in the right and who's in the wrong, but there is a video, there's a video recording of the situation. So wouldn't that answer all the questions for the legal authorities?
Well, you would think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you read the police report, you don't know who to believe.
Somebody shoved somebody, and then all hell broke loose, and a young guy died, and this fellow named Nikolai Miu is in jail, charged with first-degree homicide, and we don't know what happened. It's certainly plausible that you could have encountered some rowdy youth, and it's certainly plausible that you could have encountered a fellow who was bent on ill intent. I don't know.
I've read the full report.
But I'm never going tubing on the Apple River.
I'll take the Canyon River. That's better.
All right.
From what I read in the report, it sounds it's not clear. This guy had some scuba gear and was looking for a cell phone.
Well, by
allegedly.
scuba gear, let's just say
a snorkel and some goggles.
Yeah, he had a snorkel and some goggles. And apparently a phone was lost, and he thought that this group of teenagers had found the cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
So he inquired of them. They took offense and started kind of ripping him a little bit, calling him, hey, child molester, stay away.
Creeper.
Creeper,
yeah.
right. This is where it gets unclear. I can't, from the police report, separate how they gathered around him and where the knives, there's between 1 and 3 knives present here.
Mm-hmm.
And the exchange between knives, where he had a knife with him originally to cut the twine in the car. But he said he can't remember if he left it in the plastic bag in the car or if he gave it to someone. Then he claims that he took a knife from one of the kids, and that's not crystal clear because he's not recollecting. He went into shutdown mode when he was interviewed by the investigator, and he's not clear on exactly what happened. But once he learned that one of the kids died, he said, oh my God, my life is down the tubes. I'm so sorry for the way this ended.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of chaos. There's some video footage, but the video footage is not crystal clear.
Okay, I thought it was.
No.
All right.
As far as who did what, there is crystal clear images, but we don't know how these events unfold.
So the act of sorting this out is underway.
Yes.
Have to sort this out.
Yeah, and what a mess it is with all the different stories coming in.
Well, yes.
And this guy made a serious mistake, just legally speaking, from a legal standpoint. He gave this interview without a lawyer present.
Mm-hmm.
And we had discussed this yesterday, and what wasn't clear to me, and I think I said this during the show, is there had to have been some sort of altercation. You know what I mean?
And we now know there was.
Right, because it just didn't make any sense
but
that
he left he left the scene and went back to his group, who is family and friends, and couldn't really talk about it, didn't really say what was going on. And then when the authorities arrived, they went back down to the river, and he had talked to a police officer on the scene. Apparently it was a sheriff or a police officer, I'm not sure. And then that's when he learned that someone had died.
On that float, are you on the river a long time?
Yeah, it's
3
few
hours.
Really?
Depending on the current.
Really?
It's just a slurry of human waste. It's
disgusting. Yes.
It's awful.
No, Kenny's not wrong.
fun.
That's exactly what it is.
Chris, and what did you hear this morning on one of the channels you were telling me off the air?
Well,
do you even want to? Yeah, maybe not.
I don't think I want to repeat it because I just want to make sure it was that A, I heard it correctly, and B, that it's actually, because I tried to pull up the same news report and I can't find it on their website.
Let's skip it then, because I had not heard that. Let's skip it.
Well, the larger observation remains valid, and that is because the world's falling apart, you're not safe anywhere.
No.
Yeah, that's what we're discovering.
You're not safe anywhere.
And that's the thing, as I tell people close to me, you just have to assume that everyone's out to get you right now.
Well, it was just a week or two ago that some guy camping with his parents
That was in Iowa.
Yep.
killed a couple of neighboring campers.
Mm-hmm.
Completely by random. Didn't know him.
Well, I have no conclusions to draw because I don't know anything. It'll take a while to sort this out.
And it just doesn't make any sense. To become that enraged over a cell phone.
Yesterday morning, I somehow following a link on Twitter, Such, and this is, you preach the evils of Twitter, and here's a good example of why. I ended up on a website that was giving us five to 10 truths about this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And if there were 10 truths, 8 of them were about linking him to President Trump and his beliefs and Republicans and love of firearms and this, that, and the other, just painting him as, kind of a crazy right-wing, what people would call a nut job, which I realize is an ableist slur. And I apologize.
Well, it doesn't take people long to introduce politics to these things, does it?
It was just right away, instantaneous. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think people will. I think it's a random event. Not random. What's the word I want? It's an unusual event, and people who work on the river and have been part of this Apple River tubing industry say they've never seen anything like it.
The behavior we continue to see, whether it's stories like this or stories like Kenny just mentioned with the camping situation down in Iowa, the fuse with people is so short right now.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
then
change.
you combine alcohol.
Yes.
That's the change. And I've seen it. We do go down the Cannon River every year, maybe sometimes even twice a year.
Do you throw axes before or after the tubing?
I don't go to work because I'm throwing axes.
Gotcha.
But I have seen it's more aggressive, like my music. I want to blare my music. You don't want to crank your music in a river valley that carries, and there's people, a family 20 yards apart, and you're going Effenheimers because it's your poor taste in music. That behavior has changed, and the short fuse. You're right, Chris, is not just on the river. That's
what you get on the river, Matt. You get the what we used to call the boom boxes.
A lot of Kid Rock.
A lot of Kid Rock. You get some rap too. There's everybody's represented. It's a fun time, and it's total redneck.
Joe, it sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it?
Why would you drag along a music player?
I can tell you something worse than that.
I don't get stereo systems and pontoons. People are floating by on a beautiful, serene day at the lake, and they're blasting their country music from the pontoon.
Well, they got their yacht rock going.
Well, if we're talking Steely Dan, I guess it's the kind of music that makes me mad.
Right? Maybe that's.
Well, what's worse? It's encroaching on golf. There's a lot of people who now play music in the golf cart.
You're kidding.
Really?
No.
There should not be music.
It's just disturbing as hell.
Yeah.
At a place you frequent?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Wow.
What in the world?
Island 18?